Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're stepping away from the usual headlines, venturing into something really quite profound.
Hmm.
We're talking about the spiritual heart of India and those, well, deeply personal journeys people take to connect with it.
Right.
Think of it less like a, typical vacation photo op
Yeah,
and maybe more like a pilgrimage into your own soul.
it's a great way to put it. We're really diving into the vibrant landscape of spiritual travel in India today.
Okay.
And this is really for anyone seeking, deeper meaning, or maybe you're just curious.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, I think, for our non-resident Indian listeners, those who feel that powerful pull towards their heritage.
Absolutely. India, you see, it's so much more than just geography, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like this intricate spiritual tapestry
It really is.
woven with what, over 1,000 sacred temples?
At least. And the 12 revered Jyotirlingas dedicated to Lord Shiva, each one holding this unique spiritual weight.
Wow.
Plus, the four Char Dhams, countless ashrams, the holy rivers.
It's vast. And these places, they aren't just historical sites, are they?
No, not at all. People describe them as vibrating, with centuries of devotion. There's a kind of transformative energy there.
An energy that really touches people across generations.
Exactly. And our aim today, really, is to explore why this spiritual travel is so significant.
Okay.
What is it that actually draws people to these sacred spaces? And also, how is the experience itself being, well, reshaped? We'll be looking at an organization called DharmikVibes.
Interesting. Okay, let's really get into that. Why this deep, almost primal urge, you could say, for spiritual travel in India? What's the fundamental draw?
Well, I think at its core, it's about forging a really profound inner connection.
Right.
These journeys, they give you a chance to step away from the constant demands of daily life
Mm-hmm.
and truly rediscover yourself. Just the act of detaching, from your normal routine, immersing yourself somewhere new, often quieter, it really encourages introspection.
That makes sense. And it seems like a pretty universal feeling, that desire for inner exploration.
It really does. But it's more than just looking inward, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. There's also that incredibly rich experience of, like, encountering ancient cultural wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
but in its living form.
Precisely. You're not just reading about age-old rituals or philosophies in a book.
Yeah.
You're seeing them happen, maybe even participating. You're absorbing spiritual practices that have been passed down for millennia.
That direct engagement must offer a much deeper understanding than you could ever get secondhand.
Absolutely. And many people genuinely believe these places hold a tangible healing energy. It's not just a nice thought.
Right, it's more visceral for them.
Yes, exactly. Think about the tradition of taking a holy dip, a Ganga Snan in Varanasi,
Mhm.
or the profound experience people describe of having Darshan, seeing Lord Shiva in Kedarnath.
Right.
For countless people, these acts are believed to purify not just the body, but the mind and soul, too. There's this undeniable sense of energy, kind of palpable devotion that so many visitors talk about feeling.
It's that intersection, isn't it, between this deep-rooted tradition and the potential for real personal transformation. That really seems key.
It is.
It's not just about seeing places on a map.
No, it's about a much deeper engagement with something ancient, something powerful.
It's about letting the essence of these places actually touch you, maybe change you a little.
Exactly that. It's a journey focused on personal evolution, not just ticking boxes off a list.
Okay, let's shift focus slightly. Let's talk about a group for whom this spiritual call to India often feels even deeper. Non-resident Indians, NRIs.
Ah, yes, that's a really vital point. For millions of NRIs, there's often this persistent, deeply felt yearning.
Yearning for what specifically?
To reconnect with their roots, the rituals they maybe grew up with or heard about, and maybe seeking a sense of meaning that perhaps life abroad doesn't always provide, despite its other advantages.
And the NRI community itself isn't monolithic, right? There are different reasons people feel this pull.
Absolutely. You've got, say, second-generation NRIs who are actively trying to understand their heritage.
Mm-hmm.
They want to build a real, tangible connection with the traditions they've perhaps only heard stories about.
Okay.
Then you have spiritual seekers within the community looking for, well, authentic ways to visit specific places.
Like where?
Places like Vrindavan, Rameshwaram, Shirdi, locations with immense spiritual meaning for them. And importantly, they want it to be safe, smooth, well-organized.
And it's not just the younger generation.
Oh, not at all. You have elderly parents living abroad who have a strong desire for maybe a guided darshan or a pilgrimage back in India.
Right.
But arranging that from overseas can be really challenging
I
logistically.
can imagine.
And then, of course, lots of NRI families want their kids to experience India's spiritual side firsthand.
To pass on those values.
Exactly,
Oh.
hoping to instill those crucial cultural and spiritual connections.
It sounds like a really profound need. But organizing these kinds of trips, these very personal journeys from thousands of miles away, that must come with a lot of difficulties.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly where the challenges pop up. Think about unpredictable Darshan timings at temples.
Right.
The complexities of just navigating temple entry procedures sometimes, potential language barriers, finding trustworthy accommodation.
Yeah, finding guides you can trust.
Definitely. Arranging specific rituals, knowing how to do that. And maybe the biggest hurdle is the lack of personalized guidance, something tailored to what you're actually seeking spiritually.
So it raises a big question, doesn't it? How do you overcome all these very real obstacles to make that spiritual journey truly meaningful for NRIs?
Yeah, exact.
And that, I suppose, leads us naturally to dharmic vibes. You mentioned them earlier. They seem to be stepping into this space.
They do.
What exactly are they, and how are they trying to smooth out this often tricky process?
Well, DharmikVibes describes itself as a tech-enabled spiritual ecosystem.
Okay, tech-enabled.
Yeah, the basic idea is using modern technology to help create these sacred journeys. Journeys that are not just seamless logistically, but also deeply personalized and spiritually enriching.
So, using today's tools to connect with something timeless. That's interesting. How do they actually do that? What kinds of services are we talking about?
One of their main things is a really comprehensive end-to-end personalized concierge service.
Right.
Basically, they handle all the logistics, everything from your home city right up to the temple gate.
Wow, really? Like flights and trains?
Yep, flights, trains, car rentals, even carefully selected hotel bookings.
That sounds like a huge weight off someone's shoulders.
Yeah.
Especially planning from overseas.
It really does. And they also create custom itineraries, designed for individuals, families, even larger groups going together.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond just the travel and stay, they manage pre-booking important rituals, handling temple registration, securing those often hard-to-get puja slots.
So the benefit is
Yeah.
you can just focus on the spiritual side.
That's the goal, to free travelers up, to really immerse themselves in their devotion, in the experience itself, without all that logistical stress hanging over them.
It's like having a dedicated sort of spiritual travel assistant. What else do they offer?
Another really crucial part is their Dharmic guide network. Now, these aren't just standard tourist guides.
Okay, how are they different?
They're positioned more as cultural storytellers. They act as bridges across language gaps, maybe even as spiritual mentors offering deeper context.
Ah, right.
And of course, they handle the practical stuff on the ground, too.
So much more than just pointing out landmarks.
Exactly. This network covers over 500 temples and holy cities.
Wow.
And the aim is always an authentic, safe, and deeply immersive experience, but with that essential human touch, connecting with someone who genuinely understands the local culture and the spiritual meaning of where you are.
And you mentioned tech.
Yeah.
There's an AI component, divine AI.
Yes, Divine AI. That's described as their proprietary engine, the sort of intelligent backbone of the platform.
Right.
It's where spiritual travel meets modern AI capabilities.
So what does it actually do?
Several things. It recommends destinations based on your preferences, your stated spiritual interests. It plans optimized darshan routes.
To save time?
Exactly. Help pilgrims make the most of their time. It suggests relevant pujas, auspicious timings, maybe other nearby sites you might find interesting.
So it's like a very smart, personalized spiritual trip planner you carry around.
Pretty much. It even offers AI chat support in different languages for religious or spiritual questions that might come up, either during planning or even while you're there.
Huh. Can you give an example?
Sure, think about planning something complex like the Char Dham Yatra.
Right, that's a huge undertaking.
Divine AI could help map out the whole journey with incredible efficiency, but then you still have the human warmth and understanding of the Dharmic guide along the way.
That mix of AI precision and human connection sounds quite powerful. Now, thinking specifically about NRIs again, are there services tailored just for them beyond what we've covered?
Yes, definitely. DharmikVibes offers pre-travel consultations designed specifically for NRIs, accessible from anywhere,
Okay.
so they can plan effectively and address concerns before they even leave home. They also help with practical things like visa and medical assistance,
That's important.
especially, yes, focusing on the needs of senior travelers who might have specific health worries.
That's really thoughtful. a crucial consideration.
And they offer these curated spiritual travel kits, too. They can ship internationally, things you might need for the pilgrimage.
Okay.
And perhaps most importantly for families, there's a dedicated helpline just for NRI families.
What's that for?
It makes it easier for them to book pilgrimages for loved ones traveling in India and even track their journey remotely for peace of mind.
Ah, I see. Providing reassurance and bridging that geographical gap with practical support. Now, you made a really interesting distinction earlier. Sacred, not just scenic. How does DharmikVibes try to foster that truly spiritual experience, not just a sightseeing tour?
Yeah, that's fundamental, isn't it? Spiritual travel is ultimately about inner transformation, not just looking at things.
Right.
DharmikVibes tries to help this deeper experience happen in a few key ways. They really emphasize understanding the stories, the deep spiritual meaning behind the temples and sites.
So going beyond just the visual.
Exactly. Encouraging a deeper connection. It's about feeling the vibrations, the energy of the rituals, not just watching passively. And ultimately, it's about fostering that inner reflection, that personal spiritual growth, moving beyond just checking places off a list.
Could you paint a picture for us? Give us some examples of how that might feel different on the ground.
Okay, imagine lighting a diya, a small lamp, at Kashi Vishwanath in Varanasi. But doing it with a real understanding of the ancient history, the profound meaning attached to that simple act there. Or picture meditating in Bodh Gaya, really trying to feel the echoes of the Buddha's enlightenment in that specific sacred space. Or maybe chanting mantras at Tirupati, not just repeating words, but feeling like you're part of this powerful collective wave of devotion.
Wow.
DharmikVibes aims to kind of curate those moments, provide the context and support so they can become genuinely sacred memories, experiences that stick with you on a much deeper level than just seeing a nice view.
It's nurturing that emotional, that spiritual connection, not just a visual one.
Okay, so if someone listening is interested, how do they actually access DharmikVibes?
They offer a few ways. There's a pretty comprehensive website where you can plan travel, book pujas, rituals, even buy spiritual items through their e-commerce section.
Okay. Straightforward.
And for people on the go or who prefer apps, there's a mobile app. It has some really useful features like live GPS tracking for Darshan queues at some temples.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, real-time temple timing alerts, even audio guides to listen to while you're there.
That live queue tracking sounds incredibly practical for managing your day.
It really does. They also offer WhatsApp support for quick help, real-time assistance if questions pop up.
And secure payment options for everything, donations, bookings, rituals. Plus, they've built partnerships across the board.
With who?
With temples, priests, hotels, travel partners, e-commerce vendors. The idea is to offer a complete, seamless solution.
So whether you're listening in Delhi or Dubai or Dallas or maybe even Durban, this platform aims to be reachable and offer real support for those spiritual journeys in India.
That's the idea. If you feel that calling for a spiritual journey to India, DharmikVibes wants to be like a trusted guide, walking with you from your doorstep to, hopefully, a deeply meaningful connection with the divine. Their whole goal seems to be making the process not just sacred, but also simple, remarkably simple and stress-free.
So wrapping it up, DharmikVibes is essentially trying to take away the complexities, which can be pretty significant, right?
Oh, definitely.
Especially for spiritual travel in India, allowing people, particularly NRIs, to just fully focus on the personal, the potentially transformative side of these journeys.
Precisely. They're aiming to simplify and really sacralize the whole experience, from the very first thought of planning right through to those moments of connection at the sacred sites themselves.
Well, if this deep dive into spiritual travel has sparked something in you, if you'd like to explore more, where can listeners go?
We definitely encourage you to stay tuned for future episodes, more travel insights, maybe some divine perspectives. And of course, you can check out everything DharmikVibes offers directly on their website. That's dharmikvibes.com.
dharmikvibes.com.
Got it. And as we close out this exploration today, maybe just a thought to leave you with. What might a true pilgrimage into your own soul look like? And what discoveries, maybe unexpected ones, might be waiting for you on that kind of journey, whether it takes you across continents or just into the quiet spaces within your own heart. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.